Anodyne, sweet anodyne. John Strongman's muscles are his anodyne. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Vandal Drummond and Alfredo Esparza, better known as Kurt Brown and Alfredo Esparza, but I'm still delusional and I still insist on being Vandal Drummond, the name that I dreamed up along with Dan Farron. And as usual, we opened up with our John Strongman's Haiku, and for the umpteenth time last night as I was dozing off, going to bed, I was reading that great poem by Samuel Coleridge, Kubla Khan, which was a vision of a beautiful paradise that Coleridge came up with as he was passed out after being whacked out on laudanum for his illness. And I'm just trying to picture John Strongman somewhere in that pleasure dome built by Kubla Khan. Alfredo, how are you tonight?
Pretty good. We're starting a little late.
Yes, we are. What was the scoop with Blog Talk? They just wanted to postpone us a bit. They wanted to be fashionably late.
Well, when I was trying to set up the schedule, I kept pressing it goes to the section where you edit the show you're going to schedule. And it kept on going back. It wouldn't go to the next step. So I was like, what the hell's going on? So at the very bottom, it's in red, and it says 7 p.m. is already. There's no more room for more shows.
Aha!
Okay. So
it makes me nostalgic, believe it or not. It reminds me of wrestling at the All Nation Center, where the start time was 5 o'clock, and we usually started around 6.
Yeah, it was weird because it's been this way for like a year basically since we started. I think the last time we had a later time was the first show. The first show was.
That's true. That's when we had the 8 o'clock start time. Maybe they're trying to hint something to us.
Yeah, I think they finally decided to switch our schedule around or something.
Yolanka the Spaceman has somehow used his pacifying gun to blast through that internet astroplane, got herself into Blog Talk Radio, and nudged us towards 7:30. I do believe it is some sort of sign.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is it wasn't that big a deal. It was only 30 minutes. So.
Yes. And as I was saying to you before the show went on the air, it gave me a little time to chill, had a busy day, got home a little late, so I was able to just kind of cruise the internet a little bit and do nothing constructive. No preparation, no
preparation. Nothing. Great. Good job, Kurt.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it a trend. I think it was John Cleese who said that idle hands get in the way of the devil's work, and
you don't prepare. Meanwhile, I write a full format.
That's why I give you salutations, because you do much hard work, so the rest of us don't have to, and we have to. And we all thank you, Fredo.
The only reason I did it is because I wasn't sure if you were going to call, so I was like, well, if you don't call, I'll just do it. I'll do 30 minutes, and then like another 30 minutes just complaining about my NCAA bracket. Yes,
and that's something you're probably familiar with. In fact, everybody I know is familiar with it. Even my sister, who's an economics professor, is familiar with it, and actually won tickets to one of the playoffs.
Oh.
Yeah, my sister, the esteemed Dr. Eleanor Brown, economics professor at Claremont College, knows more about basketball than I do.
I was going to ask if you knew it was March Madness.
I thought March Madness was some sort of psychedelic spree of some kind up in San Francisco. Yeah. Just like I didn't know who Kurt Rambis was until Mamacita Pagano at work filled me in. I said, he's an athlete, isn't he? And my second question, what's that?
And you've lived in Los Angeles for how long?
Almost all my life, except for 1 year up in Oregon.
Yeah, and that was like the year before, I think about the same time that Kurt Rambis first started playing with the Lakers, I think.
Yeah, well, that's the funniest part is not only did I not know what sport he was in, but I asked a woman at work, oh, yeah, he's an athlete. What team does he play on? And she just started laughing even harder, saying he doesn't play anymore. That was years ago.
And then she just started complaining, oh, my God, I can't believe this.
Yeah, I'm somewhat up on mixed martial arts. I'm a little behind, but familiar with sumo. So, yeah, what can I say? I'm proud.
Are you up to date with lucha?
No, I am sadly behind on Lucha, although I am mourning the loss of the mask of Felino.
Yeah.
Who, even though we all knew that he was one of the Casas brothers, upon losing his mask, I saw that face and I'm saying, that must be rough. You have two brothers who are very handsome men and, well,
he's got a good-looking wife. I mean, his wife isn't that ugly.
Oh, power to him.
Yeah, Princesa Blanca isn't that, you know.
Oh, that's his wife. I did not know that.
He's not that bad looking.
But I am gonna miss the Felino mask.
Oh yeah.
I loved that mask. I love that outfit. I dug Felino since I first saw him in 1989.
But you know what he debuted after that show? Like one of the next shows? Felino in blackface.
Oh no!
Only in Mexico.
Peste Negra.
So, yeah, he Puebla, he wore blackface.
Oh, are they?
But you know, it's kind of funny. I think if you have like a cat type of gimmick, you pretty much know you're going to lose your mask.
That's true, but yeah. And I'm happy for him. I bet he made a really good payday.
Yeah. Do you know what happened before that, Matt? Before that show?
No.
AAA had a press conference, right? Like the day before?
Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah, Dorian Roldan and Conan. Dorian Roldan pretty much said, hey, Felino's going to lose. Which, I mean, come on. It's like nobody... I mean, if you're a Lucha Libre fan and you don't know who's going to lose, you're pretty like... I mean, you're a little bit...
Well, it's ironic if Conan was involved, because I remember Conan bagging on Rey Mysterio Sr. for giving away opposing promotions apuestas results beforehand.
Yeah. Well, you know...
I don't know. I guess it's just... I guess promotional rivalries are what they are.
The best thing is they were also complaining about how Conan, then it was Conan's turn to complain about CMLL.
Mm-hmm.
He brings up how CMLL doesn't push any of the young guys. So who have been their recent debuts? AAA, La Parca.
Yep.
And Heavy Metal. And who leaves? Well, Marco Corleone. I don't think Marco Corleone's that young, so.
He's
gotta be in his mid-30s.
I was going to say, I couldn't even guess what his age is, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, I could look it up.
Yeah.
Really
I remember the first time seeing Felino on an old CMLL show in 1989, and I was rather proud because I'm not the most observant guy when I'm looking at somebody under a hood. I'm embarrassed to admit it. I know a lot of people who know right off the bat who's under that mask, but I saw at the end of the Babyface's fall, Felino do that patented Casas family head scissors off the second rope. That to this day I think is one of the most beautiful moves. And the first thing I thought was, holy shit, is that Negro Casas under the mask? And that was when I was in touch with Conan regularly, and I asked him, that's not Negro Casas, is it? And he just paused and goes, no, actually it's Baby Casas. And I was just tickled that I recognized that move. My inner Mark. You never get over your inner smart.
Yeah. Well, the other news was La Parca debuting for AAA.
That's big news.
That was big news. I mean, after 14 years or whatever, 15 years being gone, or 13 years, I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I mean, well, it took Antonio Peña dying for him to finally make his way back. Well, actually, it took more than that. I mean, it pretty much took the whole business falling apart and his son finally showing up, La Parca's son. I think he's doing it more for his son, probably.
Yeah, well, I must say, if they're building up to the mask versus mask, I'd be really curious to see what that match turns out to be like. And
who they pick to win. I mean, because both of them are pretty broken down by now.
Yeah, from what Steve Sims said on the Figure 4 last week, it sounds like both of them are winding their career up.
Yeah, well, La Parca, the original one for age, and the other one because he's just broken down.
Yeah, and that's why I'm curious to see what the match is going to turn out like. There's kind of this little phenomenon with Conan's matches where he's really got to watch his health, so whenever he has a singles match, it involves a dozen other wrestlers besides himself.
No, it won't be as bad as Conan versus Cibernetico.
No, and I have to say, the first time I saw the Conan Cibernetico, where, you know, it was like a Warner Brothers cartoon where every creature comes out and attacks Cibernetico, everything out of the woodwork. It impressed me once, but when I heard they did it again, I'm saying, okay, this is the type of thing that can get old really, really fast. And so my own personal hunch is if they don't do the La Parka versus La Parka, mask versus mask soon, it could really run its course before its time.
Well, yeah, it's kind of about, I think if they would have done it 5 years ago before the other Parka started just falling apart, like with all the shoulder injuries, the car accident he was in, I think it would have been a pretty good match, because the other Parka, I mean, the AAA one is really popular. So, and back then he was a little bit underrated. Now he's really bad.
That's really sad. That's too bad.
He's as bad as Octagon now. Like,
wow.
That's how that is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, and did you hear about Latin Lover? He's gone too. So
I heard that. Well, I heard he didn't show to the major AAA show, but I didn't hear any follow-up to that.
Well, the rumor, the thing that there was a rumor that came out about that same time.
Mm-hmm.
Or some I think it was People in Espanol. They had done a report where Latin Lover had a gay relationship with a producer of a TV show he was on.
I heard that rumor. Yeah.
That rumor, and I think that's what they kind of
got you. But he is definitely gone from AAA.
Oh, yeah, but I think he wanted more out of, like, I think he was demanding something out of AAA.
Yes.
They pretty much weren't going to, and I mean, it's not like his departure was going to make that match any worse than it already was.
No, it's true. I can't think of any one wrestler in AAA where if they left, the promotion would be on the ropes.
Well, that's the one thing that Antonio Pena did really well. Like, all those guys could leave, and he would still find a way to, like, elevate somebody new.
Yeah, I think Antonio Pena was very intelligent, and I actually kind of give him kudos for calling La Parka on his bluff when La Parka left.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember everybody, including myself, thought nobody's going to buy this subpar La Parka, this La Parka replacement, but it worked. It got over.
And he's been around for a long time. You know, it's so funny because people always used to email me and ask me, is that the real Parka or is that a different one? I would be like, how can you not tell the difference? You know, being somebody that watches it a lot, it's like, how can you not tell the difference? You know?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
The AAA Parka does nothing similar to what the original one was. I mean, the original one is a really good worker.
Oh, he's a worker unto himself.
Yeah, I mean, still at this age, he's still decent. I mean, and the La Parka AAA, at best, when he was good, he was average.
Yeah, in fact, the original Parka, the L.A. Park, as we call him, I have not actually seen him in action in quite a while.
Yeah, he got really, well, you know, he's been getting fat, for the last couple of years, so that's part of aging. Yeah.
What always impressed me was how he could wrestle a really solid match in that full-body outfit. I mean, he's covered from head to toe.
You know, I was watching the news show, Tercera Caída.
Mm-hmm.
And Groon Triple X was on there.
Uh-huh.
He was doing an interview, and he was wearing jeans, and he painted his whole body for an interview.
For an interview.
Yes, and so you look at his jeans, and because he has to paint his hands and his entire body, and you look at his jeans, and they just look like really like dirty, like it's like, holy shit, dude, seriously.
Oh my Lord, I debate whether that's dedication, artistic value, or lunacy. I'm not sure which it is.
I was grossed out, but at the same time I was like, man, you know, it takes a lot for a guy to do an interview where he's probably not going to get paid anything.
Oh my Lord.
To do and to paint his whole body, you know, red.
That's why I could never be a good wrestling promoter, because I would be thinking of doing stuff like that. I would be thinking of the performance art that the wrestlers probably don't even realize they're creating great performance art, but they are. And I wouldn't give a damn about making a buck. I would make a damn over whether it would get over in some place like Haight-Ashbury or Greenwich Village. I would want to know. I would want to just do something that had just this great aesthetic value. Damn the box office.
I just thought it was so funny to see him like that for some reason. Because you never. Guys complain about all these little things like getting your head shaved or losing your mask, and then this guy shows up all full body paint. And it's like, holy shit, why would you do that?
I love it. I love it.
Wear your Grunda T-shirt, or something over.
Well, who knows? Maybe we will. Maybe we will get that dirty match with Grun versus John Strongman.
Oh God, that'd be sad.
That's what if somewhere I have that insane relative who has several $1 billion and leaves it all to me, that would be the first thing I would do. I would promote John Strongman versus Grun. I would have it in Berkeley, California, on the campus of UC Berkeley. And nobody in Berkeley would ever drop acid again, because once they see Grun versus John Strongman, that will be the ultimate hallucination. They will have seen it.
The funniest thing about the interview, even worse than him being painted, the highlights that they show him, because he has to do an interview for 20 minutes at least. One of the highlights is him breaking his leg.
Oh, man.
They can't find anything decent to show of him. And the other highlight.
That's your greatest contribution, your greatest high spot ever, is this sickening leg break. That is disturbing to watch.
Yeah, and then they show his highlight of CMLL, and it's just this really brief thing, him laying on the mat. Oh shit, there you go.
Oh.
But, I mean, it's so funny. I don't know. I know people want to interview some people, but it's you're going to Grun Triple X.
And Grun doing a 20-minute interview, he must have been blown up by the end of that.
I didn't even listen to the rest.
The muscles surrounding his, his lungs, and his vocal folds must have just been exhausted. I mean,
he has a really soft voice for a big guy.
Has a really which voice?
A soft voice. Really
Oh my God, that makes it even more brilliant.
Yeah, it was holy shit. Well, I've never heard him talk like that. I think it was probably because he was talking so long that maybe he was blown up from painting himself and doing all that.
Okay, who are the current writers in WWE? Do they not know what they're missing? Well, this would be better than the Boogeyman. This would get over greater than the Boogeyman. Ultimate Warrior would be forgotten.
I think
Grun
would look really small in WWE too,
But he would look so bizarre in WWE. Even in WWE, the Boogeyman would look like Carl Gotch next to Grun. Oh man, my imagination is swirling.
Well, let me get one of the colors on. I think it's Bix.
Hola, ¿quién es?
Up your nose with rubber hose, Vandal and Fredo.
Because we hate school, but we love rock and roll.
Yep.
That was on my playlist when I went for a very lengthy run the other day, and that amped me into hyperdrive, and it was great because I was just starting to run up a hill near the wonderful Laguna Lake in Fullerton, California. And I can see people are just blown away.
We weren't impressed.
But we're talking Jimmy Hart. I mean, I had everything on that playlist. I had Black Knight by Deep Purple. I had Give Me Shock Treatment by the Ramones. But when I started heading up that hill, when you start really needing to, work those quads and those glute muscles, Jimmy Hart kicks it in.
Well, Dr. Lucha recommended a bunch of songs for you with running titles.
No.
I love the run-in you just did, Bix. How is
stuff.
Everything with you, Bixie?
Good. Though Fredo still hasn't sent me the link to the Terry Funk album.
Well, you know what happened? It's not there anymore.
Who put it up? Put it back up.
I'll have to upload them.
Okay. Oh, you have it. Okay, yeah.
I have it. I have it on my computer. I haven't had time to upload them.
Yeah, put it on Mediafire or you have a domain. You can put it there.
Yeah.
I won't tell anyone. You can delete them after.
And Bix, I want to thank you for the link to the Jimmy Hart take on We Love School. I had wanted that on my playlist.
School.
We hate school. Yes.
Nobody
I'm hallucinating and I'm sober. That's sad. No, it's not. It's happy.
I saw Guardian Angels in the city again today. No Curtis Lewa, but I saw three Guardian Angels.
That sounds somehow poetic. Like it sounds like it should be part of a Christmas poem. Seeing 3 guardian angels
In red berets.
In red berets. Speaking of which, I saw a herd of guardian angels at Haight-Ashbury the other week when I went to the roller derby.
Really?
Yeah, they were all over the place. But I mean, we're talking Haight-Ashbury where people are just kind of sitting around mellow and stoned.
So yeah, is there a need for a group of vigilantes?
Maybe if they're looking to score a lid or something like that. But it looked like a mellow place. Of course, I was up there one day. Maybe people are a little feistier than I give them credit for. And that was a moment of silence.
So we had a moment
for Baron Miguel Cicluna, who passed away this past week.
From the Isle of Malta.
From the Isle of Malta.
Really, from the Isle of Malta?
Yes, exactly. The same Isle of Malta where Rikki Ataki, who Baron Miguel Cicluna was one of Rikki Ataki's greatest muses.
When did he pass away?
A week or so ago, right?
Yeah, it was sometime in the past week. He had liver cancer. I guess he hung pretty tough. From what I understand, he was still actually getting a bit of a workout in up until the last few weeks of his life.
Wait, did he have liver cancer, or did he have liver cancer like Rock Hudson had liver cancer? I'm terrible.
In quotations, liver cancer. Wink, wink, nod, nod. No, I remember the first time I ever saw Baron Miguel Cicluna was in one of the rare televised matches that Bruno Sammartino had sometime in the 70s. And I remember it was airing out here in Los Angeles, and I was all excited because I had never seen Bruno Sammartino before. And I was shocked to see, I just pictured, this no-nonsense, tough-as-nails guy. And here he was with Cicluna, and there were punches that were missing the mark by a mile. And I'm just saying, wow. So I guess L.A. isn't the only territory where somebody sells for a missed drop kick.
So when is Dr. Steve Williams' bio gonna show up?
After Ernie Ladd.
Oh. I'm still waiting for that. I really want to read that for some reason. Maybe Dr. Lucha can write it after he's done with the Conan bio.
Lordy, yes. In fact, I'm curious about that. I must also point people out to www.easydreamer.blogspot.com. If you go there now...
That doesn't sound like the right website for some reason.
It's bitchin'. It's actually called PC Link Dump. That's the formal name for it. I don't know why they have the Easy Dreamer as the HTTP, whatever you call it.
What is it?
It is literally a link dump where they just post all sorts of wacky shit.
Well, that's why that's why it has that weird link name.
It's it's a beautiful, beautiful site. It's updated multiple times per day. And if you go on there today, ironically, this is the week that Felino lost his mask, and there's a YouTube posting on this link dump called Felina. Something out of France, I believe. But it is very trippy. It will blow your mind. And right below it is the cover of an old kinky novel called Sex is a 4-letter word.
Is there nudity
and so
in this?
Is kill.
Heard, is there nudity in this?
There is. Let's see. It's right now. There's only in the Sex is a 4-letter word book. It's just a woman in lingerie. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll find something kinky down there. Not just kinky, but they have clips from Seven Samurai and Throne of Blood. A lot of Akira Kurosawa flicks. There is the poster for the porno flick called Superman, spelled Souperman, starring the late Mark Stevens as the Man of Steel. And, I've been meaning to give this site a plug for a long, long time, because if I didn't have to work and I could just goof all day, this is probably what I would be doing, is just finding all these, wacky YouTube clips and old postcards and photos and just post them on the internet. That would be my purpose in life.
You'd make money doing that.
I bet these guys do make money. They have quite a lot of contributors.
Yeah, those are the websites that make money. None of the people that write make money, man.
This is true. And I think there's a lesson to be learned in that, but I haven't learned it yet.
I make money a little.
I know, that's what I said, except for big. It's the only exception amongst us. Actually, I only make a little bit off the Google, and that's not.
Yeah, on the Google, I think last I checked, I made 63 cents in the last year.
Yeah, you haven't reached the dollar.
So I hope the IRS hasn't heard about that.
Yeah.
But then again, I never collected it.
You're going to have to report those 63 cents,
Oh, I believe so.
Oh, we got another caller. Let me put him on.
Yes, can I speak to Dave Meltzer, please?
Oh, my God, am I calling
the wrong show?
Oh, my God, is this Johnny Legend?
Yes, I thought it was
no, it's not. No, Johnny Legend's still missing. Hi, guys, it's Dan Farron. How you doing?
Dan, it is awesome to hear you.
That's very nice. Well, you've been on the air for a while now, and I kind of wanted to wait and hold back before I called in and let you guys, develop and work on the show and get better. But I realize this is the best it's going to get. So
exactly.
I just call in now.
Timing is everything, and you know just when to do the run-in, Dan. You should have been a worker.
Do you know the only thing I always told you before, the only thing that ever kept me from becoming successful as a professional wrestler was a complete lack of talent.
That didn't stop Ultimate Warrior.
Well,
he had Rick Rude.
In a way, yeah.
This is true. Yeah, he had Rick Rude, and Dan Farron stuck with Vandal Drummond, so you can only go so far. Well, while we have you on the line, let's immediately talk about next Wednesday's Story Salon. That takes place at the Coffee Fix in Van Nuys, California.
No, actually in Studio City, California.
Oh, Studio City. That sounds better. I like that much better.
Yes. And it's just the normal Wednesday night. I'm one of the producers of a Wednesday night storytelling show, and we do it virtually every Wednesday night. And the last Wednesday of the month is a theme night where we basically have everybody write to a theme, and it's about 7 or 8, 9, 10 people getting up and telling stories about real things that happened in their life. And I've been doing the show for about 10 years now, and in the last couple of years I got Kurt to finally come in and start doing some stuff on it. So, so that's happening next Wednesday.
It's a wonderful array of people presenting. It's anywhere from everyday Joes off the street to professional writers, and there's always a great variety of stories told. Some serious, some semi-serious, some lighthearted.
Yes.
Anybody in SoCal, any of the dozens of listeners listening to us, if you're in SoCal, check it out next week.
Come on, Kurt, stop saying dozens.
Okay, dozens of hundreds. Hundreds of
hundreds. Five?
Yeah.
Insomniacs who basically listen to the tapes to fall asleep. So yeah.
See, we help. I think Kurt. That's what Kurt does now.
Yeah. Listen, actually, I want to say one thing. I was on hold while I was listening to you guys talk. The one thing about La Parka and LA Park that I actually would like to. I'm looking forward to seeing the match. Because I know, as you say, that both the guys are beat to hell. There's nothing left of them. But it's one of those matches. It's kind of like, remember, Kurt, when we went down and saw Ric Flair and Hogan at the Sports Arena?
It was their second ever meeting.
Second ever meeting, and it was by no means a great match, but there was something electric about that happening and being in that room, and that happened. And I think that despite the fact that both the guys are really going to have to really work hard to, they talked about how The Undertaker, before his match with Shawn Michaels last year, spent 2 days icing his knees so that he would be ready for it. I think both of the Parkas are going to have to basically ice their entire bodies for about 6 months. before they do this. But I think there's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of humor, a lot of blood, a lot of mask ripping and things like that. And I think it could surprise people and be a lot better than a lot of people think it's going to be.
In fact, that's why I want to see it. It's not so I can see a train wreck. It's not one of those types of fascinations.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when two wrestlers, for whatever reason, are limited, whether it's just their overall talent or accumulated ring injuries. I love to see what they can still create, because I think there's an art to creating something when you have limitations.
Yes, I think so too. I think sometimes it's those limitations that actually make the match more interesting, because you have to work toward them as opposed to having, a wide palette to be able to paint from.
I agree.
And the other thing about Foligno, I do want to mention also in passing, and we mentioned this earlier, it's a shame. The whole family is so handsome, and somehow Foligno got hit with the doofus stick somewhere along the way. And when he fell out of the doofus tree, he had every limb on the way down. And basically, when I looked at the picture of him, I said, "Oh my God, it's Dee Snider from Twisted Sister."
I don't think Dee Snider's as ugly as Foligno.
Oh my Lord, I know.
True. Oh.
That's exactly what I thought too. Though, is I thought you have these two brothers who are just like these total lookers, and you're the odd man out in the family. That must suck. It would be different if you were the Marilyn Munster. You're the drop-dead gorgeous one, and the rest are kind of goofy looking.
I could see Trophy sitting around the table, and he goes, "Okay, you're gonna lucha. Listen, why don't you wear the mask? Probably a good idea. You be the big kitty cat. We'll do that one."
And trying to say it tactfully so it sounds like a compliment,
Yeah. I love you, son, but
without the mask yet.
Yeah.
I'll go look it up now.
Oh, you got to. It's hysterical.
Oh, yeah. It's like,
and then he's wearing the wig too, so
yeah,
it makes him look even more ridiculous.
Wait, he has a wig?
Yeah, he's been wearing a wig, part of the Peste Negra gimmick.
He has
a psychosis type wig.
Yeah, it's kind of a psychosis type wig.
Oh, he had such a cool persona. I was sorry to see that mask go, but as long as he got a good payday from it, I'm happy for it.
The only thing with lucha, if you're unmasked, you either have to be really good looking or really ugly.
Well, I also think you have to have the right kind of gear, because some of the gear, when you just take the mask off, the rest of the gear just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you have a really kind of cool outfit, I mean, if you're wearing a whole bodysuit, I mean, let's say with the parkas or whatever, if one of those guys winds up unmasking, he's not going to wear the entire bodysuit still.
Well,
crazy.
Super Parka did.
Super Parka does.
Well, yeah, but there's my case in point.
But the thing with Super Parka though is he's really he looks ridiculous like anywhere else, but when he wrestles in when he was booking in Nuevo Leon, he actually was really motivated. So he looked really good when he would wrestle. He would wrestle, and the whole outfit made him look even more heelish. As opposed to anywhere else, he just looked like a total goofball. You're like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Well, maybe that that outfit it might, but in general, a lot of those red and blue bodysuits when they just come out wearing those things just.
Oh yeah, he's probably gonna have to change his whole outfit too. So
probably, yeah.
And wear the furry. Well, he could leave the furry outfit.
Well, I got to ask you guys: are you more partial to the Foligno outfit that was around most of the time, or the early ghetto beige Foligno outfit?
Is that the furry one, or
the early one with the fur that Negra Casas would wear to Japan for no apparent reason?
Yeah, I always liked that one for some reason.
I think it's sentimental. I kind of like that one too.
Yeah, I concur. In fact, I'll never forget seeing Negra Casas wrestle Jushin Liger with that outfit on. I just thought that was the trippiest thing I had ever seen. Yeah. I remember loving that match too.
He just brought that out of nowhere, that outfit. I'd never seen him wear that outfit anywhere else at any point.
Well, that was when they were going through the trend in Japan where they would name every junior heavyweight after an animal. So maybe they said, "Okay, you get to be the lion."
and all the outfits had a tendency to look like they were playing a variation on C-3PO. They all look like little robot outfits for some reason.
Also bringing us back to the late 1970s when several wrestlers in Mexico did the robot C3 gimmick or the R2D2.
Oh,
and
God,
and in IWRG early in the aughts, too.
Yeah, they did it. They did like in '99, I think.
And they had R2. Yeah, they had the R2D2.
They had an R2D2 and all that. Yeah.
In Guatemala in 1980, they actually had a Chewbacca.
They had a Chewbacca.
Yeah, with a full outfit and stuff.
Okay.
They showed him doing topes and everything.
Yeah, imagine wrestling in that outfit. Wow.
Oh, yeah, and he teamed with somebody called Madame Xanadu. And Madame Xanadu was basically a transvestite version of La Parka. Seriously, picture it. He came to the ring all dressed up like a lady with, the skeletal mask and carried a parasol with him, a la Cassandro.
These are some great gimmicks for Dan for the next show.
Yeah, we gotta agree on the show pretty soon one of these days. We know it's going to hit us sometime.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's not John Strongman and Grund or whatever you were talking about.
You don't want that for the main event?
Oh, excuse me?
You don't want that as our main event?
No, I heard Kurt saying that if he got $1 billion, I think I would have him committed if that was the first match he put together for $1 billion.
He could do that.
There'd be more people taking a Brody off the Golden Gate Bridge that night than anything else. And man, Grun always Grun always looks like to me like Satan from South Park. That's what I always think of whenever I see him.
He does.
That's so true.
That makes sense also with the whole gay thing, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I was talking about. If you refereed
that match, and we'd make it an iron match, after 60 minutes, you would still be standing, and they would be lying exhausted.
You're exactly right.
You would get absolutely right. You would be so over that night.
Dan would be the best worker for that match.
I would be. That would be one of the rare occasions I would be.
You'd be the Red Shoes Dugan. Oh, Lord. Well, Dan, we were talking a little earlier about the passing of Baron Miguel Cicluna.
Yeah. I grew up in Baltimore, as you well know, and I was there from like the mid-'60s to the mid-'70s. And I had on occasion to see Baron Miguel Cicluna, or as they said, it's Baron Miguel Cicluna, but they tend to pronounce it Baron Miguel Cicluna for some reason. And he was in a phase there where by 72, 73, he was getting older and he was being pushed down the card, and he would basically be he'd win a match on TV on occasion, or he would be teamed up with a jobber in a tag team match and the jobber would lose, or in the arenas. And what people don't realize a lot with the WWF back at that time is if you went to see them on one of the swings up and down there, with the exception of New York usually, or maybe Boston, a lot of the other shows, you would see like 5 jobbers against 5 jobbers in singles matches before they would have 1 or 2 matches on top. So Cicluna was always on those shows, beating Miguel Feliciano or the Black Demon or somebody. Yeah, the B Team. That stuff. But he did have one really glorious good run when he teamed up with King Curtis, and they were the tag champs, and they were a really good tag team. And in fact, the very first times I ever saw a belt change hands on TV was when they won the tag team championship from Carl Gotch and Rene Goulet.
Oh, so he teamed with King Curtis. For some reason, I was remembering incorrectly and thought he teamed with Carl Gotch, but so it was he and King Curtis then.
It was he and King Curtis, and Lou Albano was managing them, and they were just this wild, crazy animal team, and they beat Gotch and Goulet on TV, and then they went through a bunch of people, and they finally dropped the belts to Chief J. Strongbow and Sonny King for a real short period after that. They were the King and Strongbow were the transition team, but they were if you've ever seen King Curtis, I was watching I was watching the Brody in Japan, that 5-disc set that's out right now, and the very first match on there from the early 70s was Brody and Curtis against Baba and Destroyer. Oh. And it's a pretty wild thing to see. You can see where Brody got a lot of his stuff from King Curtis.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Oh, it's a great match. It's a lot of fun. But all the guys really enjoy. Baba was old then. And Dick Beyer, bless his heart, man, he's working his ass off. But
Dick Beyer, I always knew he was a great worker, but I never realized just what a brilliant worker Dick Beyer was until I saw the match pitting him against Ricky Dosen.
Yes.
Now, I know Ricky Dosen is like the most popular wrestler ever in Japan, but I swear to God, that dude could not work, even when taking into consideration the standards of the day. But Dick Beyer just made him look great. Dick Beyer made it a really, really awesome match.
Yeah, and I sometimes think that Dick Beyer doesn't get his due for a lot of people. They'll say, oh, he's like one of the best masked men of all time. But he was just one of the best guys of all time. He really and truly, if you send him out there, you could send him out there today, and he would be either a baby face in 5 minutes or a heel in 5 minutes, depending on what you wanted him to do.
Yeah, he was tough. I hate to throw this word around too much, but he's a brilliant worker. He was really, really good. And
a tough guy, from what I heard from talking to people.
That's what I've heard, too.
And I still, even at whatever he is now, 120 or whatever it is, I still wouldn't screw with him.
I wouldn't screw with him or a lot of the old-timers on their deathbeds.
Most of them, yeah.
Even the ones who don't appear to be can be a lot of, tougher than,
all they got to do is get their hands on you in one way, shape, or form, and then it's over.
One wrist lock on you and you're squealing.
Yeah, ask Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe he'll have a rematch soon against Danny Hodge. You never know.
Exactly.
Pinfolino without his mask. Pinfolino without his mask. He's really not that ugly. He just looks like his dad.
No, he's ugly, man. Come on. His dad looks exactly the same now at whatever age he is to what he looked like 20 or 30 years ago, right?
Oh, I remember seeing a picture of the Papa, Pepe Casas, in a 1970 Lucha Libre mag, and then I thought, wow, where did Negro and Heavy Metal get those good looks from? I don't understand.
The wife of whoever he was with.
Yeah, Felino.
Well, maybe what it is
looks.
Maybe Metal and Negro are basically get their looks from their mom, and Felino unfortunately gets his looks from his dad.
Yeah,
there's the mystique.
One, huh?
Yeah, okay, that's the mystique. We got to find a picture of Mama Casas. Maybe that will answer the puzzle.
Have you watched any of those Rastalona shows where they're interviewing the Mendoza family and they show Villano 3 up close?
No,
I haven't.
Villano 3, I mean, dude, he looks even worse now. It's like, holy shit, this guy looks worse now than he did 2 years ago.
Oh, awful. I remember the only time I really saw Villano 3, Villano Tercero, close up was the first year we went to Tijuana, so that was 1989. He was, I can't remember who he was wrestling, but it was a 6-man setting up for a mask versus mask. And not only did he, did his usual of gigging the shit out of his forehead, but his mask was ripped to ribbons where you could see 85% of his face. And I remember getting up close to get pictures of him, and I could just see all these gig marks everywhere on his face where nobody, not even the Sheik or Abdullah the Butcher, had gig marks. He had them on his chin.
Oh, the chin, yeah. And I think, didn't Paraguayo do that too?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm trying to figure out if I've seen that on Paraguay or if that's just him being old.
Now, Paraguay had his forehead. His forehead was really...
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. No, it's Villano. No, because of the mask, I guess he just tried to blade everywhere.
Yeah. But Villano 3 was... I mean, when they showed him when they were interviewing, I was like, oh my God, this guy... How does he... I mean, how does he get through the life looking like that,
Oh, I know. Well, there's a book, too, I just saw. I think it came out last year or whatever, and all it is portraits of lucha stars, and there's
Lourdes Grobet book? Grobet?
Yeah.
Whatever, how you're pronouncing it.
Exactly. And I look at that, and there's a picture of him in there. It's absolutely terrifying. Because it looks like, it's the kind of thing where if you had phone messages, you could stick them between, in the little holes there and hang on to them that way.
Well, I actually remember Adrian Street saying that Abdullah the Butcher, to crack up the wrestlers in the dressing room, would take quarters and stick them in the slots in his head, like there was a muscular dystrophy donation cardboard cutouts that you saw in restaurants.
Now, isn't that Viano also? Isn't he a dentist?
I think that
Viano,
I think it's Viano 5
or 5.
4.
I would just imagine if I was a small child in a dentist chair and had to look at that face when I came out of,
I know.
so I would absolutely be horrified.
Going to the dentist is scary enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I would have gone to the dentist if he was my dentist.
No, not at all. Did anybody happen to see Chris Jericho was on George Lopez the other night, and they talked about Lucha Libre.
Uh-huh.
And it was because George Lopez talked about growing up on Lucha Libre, and they talked about Jericho's time as Corazon de Leon down in Mexico. And it was really pretty funny because he talked about, he said he lost his virginity down there.
What?
And he lost it to one of the beer girls, when you go there, they have the girls representing the beers, and, he said it lasted all of 8 seconds, and when it was over with, she patted him on the shoulder as she left.
Oh, that's actually very cute.
Yes, he also talked about getting hit in the, and we know this, and this is horrified to a lot of people, but we've seen it, where Lucha fans sometimes get so excited, they pee in a cup and they throw it at you.
Yes.
And he talked about getting hit with that, and he kept saying, he says, Jericho said, how dedicated do you have to hate someone to go to the bathroom, pee in the cup, bring it back, and throw it at them?
Oh, man. In fact, the strangest thing that I remember happening to me was, Dan, do you remember there were these two ladies, there was, at the Lucha Indie shows in Compton and at All Nation Center, there was a little old lady, a hunchback lady with a handbag, and she was the one who almost pantsed Roy that time, I think.
Oh, God, okay.
But she would always come with, I don't know if the woman was her daughter, but it was this bleach blonde woman who looked like Divine, this really just heavy-set woman who dressed in really loud clothes.
Might have been a parole officer, I don't know.
Well, if it was her parole officer, she's very unorthodox, because I remember when I was doing, when I started doing the baby bitch drum and the Exotico gimmick, between falls, I would go up to her and sit in her lap, and then, as I was sitting there, I feel something, and I realize she's fondling my nuts. And it was a very bizarre sensation having a large peroxide blonde woman fondling her nuts in front of a bunch of other wrestling fans.
Cougar.
Kurt got home and
now there's a gimmick for a woman luchador, would be La Cougar.
I love it. Totally.
Yeah, and she said she would come out and she would sit in all the young boys' laps and whatever thing on the way out. Yeah,
I like that.
Is that great? Yeah, exactly. Call Johnny Legend quickly.
Yeah, everybody call Johnny Legend. If anybody has Johnny Legend's phone number, in fact, I know Johnny Legend is doing a lot of disappearing acts, but suddenly on his account, he's accepting a lot of friends on Facebook. I wonder.
Well, yeah. And you know what? It took almost a year exactly. I had forgotten about it. I friended him a year ago, and it took him almost a year to get through. I gotta tell you,
see with email.
Samoa Joe actually befriended me, and he's missing. But he's already friended me back. This guy's kidnapped, and he gets back to me quicker than Johnny Legend does. So.
You know what? That's actually the very same thing with me too. I think I put in to be Johnny Legend's friend, 8 or 9 months ago, and then suddenly it said Johnny Legend is now your friend.
Yeah.
And 5 or 6 people, I think. Who is it? Ryan Doyle, Carol Kovnick Hernandez.
My wife.
Your wife, Mary Lou, Jody the Feminatrix, all sent me a message saying, we suggest Johnny Legend as a friend. So a lot of people, Johnny Legend, if you're listening and you're only pretending to be unaware of us, a lot of people have missed you. You drive us crazy, but we love you and we miss you.
Kurt, are you trapped in London? I just wanted to know.
I'm trapped in my own psyche.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you're trapped in London.
I'm the worst poster boy. I'm the worst poster boy for sobriety.
Have there been any updates on the Figure 4 board with that yet?
About what, the trapped in London thing?
Yeah, with that, it happened to so many current and former Figure 4 subscribers in the last couple of weeks, including me.
Yeah, I know. I got a bunch of different, because I got it from a bunch of customers, and I was like, why are these people sending me sending me trapped in London emails. I was like, "You've been mugged." I was like, "Holy crap! Why is it?" And then I read.
Isn't that like the new version of the Nigerian scam email? You have inherited $1 million.
Somebody hacked into Facebook accounts. Somebody hacked into Facebook accounts, and I guess they hacked into Brian Alvarez's.
And mine.
Yeah, I have heard about yours? That. I have not seen any of those or gotten any of those. I had mine hacked into a while back, and I had to
I've been getting a bunch. I don't have a Facebook account, but I get a lot of those invites.
Yeah.
Of different people who are on Facebook, and I'm like, and I started getting all of those. I'm like, what is this? Why is everybody trapped in London?
Exactly. Suddenly London's got to be very...
Why don't you have a Facebook account, Fredo?
Well,
I'm on Twitter.
Fredo, you are going to have one soon, because what did you tell us at Wrestle Reunion?
What did I say?
When Physico Nuclear gets a Facebook account,
it's not a shooting star.
He's not getting it. Is he getting it?
He's going to get one tomorrow.
Oh, great.
He will get one. So we're expecting to see Alfredo Esparza. You would be such a welcome presence on the Internet. We need more people like you on the Internet.
So I thought what I remember Fredo saying at the Wrestle Reunion is, "Gee, take a look at Daphne. Isn't she cute?"
Yeah, I believe that's pretty much all I said.
That's right. And you don't want to see her bleed in a first blood match, do you, Fredo? You don't want to see that.
Yeah. I don't think I'll even see it. It's on TNA. I don't think I'll be seeing it anyway. So.
You and 0.9 other people. So.
Yeah. Have you watched any of those shows, Dan? Any of those?
I taped, I think, the first one, and it's one of those. DVR'd it. Excuse me. And it's just one of those things that's like, oh, do I push the button and watch it? Oh no, I'll just let it go.
Yeah,
I'll just let it go. I'll watch reruns of something else. I'll watch.
It's like I know I shouldn't, but it's so tempting. There's some weird, bizarre, forbidden fruit effect of it, huh?
Well, it makes me feel old sometimes because I don't understand why certain things are done.
Yeah.
It makes no absolute sense to me whatsoever. And it's just, and I think also I'm just to the point where I have never met the man, but for some reason, if I could push Vince Russo off a bridge, I would. There's just something very annoying about this whole thing.
A lot of people, I think, share your sentiment, I must say.
And the fact that he wrote this new book or whatever it was. His first book was truly one of the top 3 worst books I'd ever read about wrestling. The only ones I can think of that were as bad as that was Blackjack Mulligans, were entire chunks of Blackjack's career. Like I don't know how you could write a book about his life and just happen to leave out that entire hunk of him being in prison for a while, And the other one was...
He didn't talk about the counterfeiting adventure he had.
No,
with
not
his
at all.
son?
He never even touched on that. All he talked about was the fact that it was Ric Flair and him that made that whole because that whole hat angle they did. That Flair deserved 50% of that, and the rest was all him. But the other one was the Sheikh Adnan Al-Kaisi book, which was really, really bad. And it's a bad book, and I like the guy, Tito Santana. But it's funny when you read these things how the guys either forget about what happened or where they were or whatever. But there's a whole section where Tito Santana is talking about watching the Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant match at WrestleMania from the back, and he's wondering what's going to happen. And he says he looked at Bobby Heenan, and I thought, wait a minute. Bobby Heenan was at ringside with Andre. How can you look at Bobby Heenan in the dressing room?
Oh Lord,
they don't have an editor for their.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
it's an extremely fascinating business, and
I think you should write a book, Dan.
I joked about. I wanted to write a book about being one of the only guys who's never sent a tape into one of the big majors and has never done anything. I've worked with a handful of people, and it's a lot of that different kind of stuff. But basically, I always wanted to call it Confessions of a Curtain Jerker because that's not what I am. I'm known around here for doing some things, but that's about it.
Yeah. I think you're more known for that that special, weren't you?
Oh, for the Secrets of Pro Wrestling Exposed?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, do you know what's funny? I sent a note to Stacy Burke, who was the girl who played what they're talking about for anybody who I forget sometimes that there actually might be people listening to the show. But NBC did a show called The Secrets of Pro Wrestling Exposed, and I was brought in to be the referee. Which is hysterical because they said, "Oh, we're going to put this mask on you and we're going to digitize your voice so no one knows who you are." Except they didn't do that when I was in the ring. So, like, literally 5 seconds after the show starts, I start getting phone calls. What are you doing on that show? You know, but the thing I remember about that show is Stacy Burke played the Pitbull's valet on there, and Stacy is a well-known bondage model. And does all those kind of those bondage and nudity. Google that, Stacy Burke, and you'll find that thing there. But
Google Images. Google.
Excuse me.
Google Images or the Google?
No, Google Stacy Burke. And Stacy Burke. That's right, with an E at the end. But I sent her a note recently because I'm friends with her on Facebook. See, you meet good people on Facebook, Fredo. And we both joked about how the fact that we both actually wound up in the ad in the TV guide. And of course, my brilliant career, I was wearing a mask, which is always a good thing.
I remember that mask. You looked very frightening in that mask, actually.
Well, it was a hockey mask with referee stripes on it. And I often thought if that show had been successful at all, I could have started another career playing that referee locally.
That would have been actually a very cool gig.
Yeah, Ref X.
I think you should have gone for it anyways, to be honest with you.
That should have been your gimmick on, like, XTW.
Is it real or is it Ref X? Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, maybe if we get Incredibly Strange Wrestling going again, or Incredibly Strange Lucha Libre, we could do that one time.
That would be wonderful, actually. I'd be way up for that.
I think we would.
It's so funny. That's the only time I think about any kind of a reunion show or any kind of wrestling again, is if it was either an Incredibly Strange reunion or a Lucha/Cal International reunion of some kind.
Yeah. Though I know that Kurt and I both are going to be doing the Millennium Pro Wrestling reunion show May 29th out here in the San Fernando Valley, which they're basically doing as part of a documentary on one of the guys. But that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that, mainly because seeing the guys again, a lot of the guys we haven't seen in years, and it'll be fun to get back. Though mostly Kurt and I are going to be working behind the scenes on that one. But Roddy Piper is supposed to be there too.
We'll pretty much be doing the dressing room.
Yeah, we'll be basically running the dressing room, which is, And the one thing I'll do that always drives me crazy is I'm going to go through and make sure that the protected finishes. I've always been a big supporter. Nothing drives me crazier than seeing the guy in the opening match, do a DDT and kick out of it, and then in the main event the guy gets pinned by it.
Exactly, and the DDT that they kick out of is the opening move, followed by 5 topes only 3 minutes into the match.
And 3 chair shots.
Yeah, exactly.
There has to be chair shots, huh? Come on, you got to have chair shots to get Brian upset. Brian Alvarez go on a rant. We need Brian Alvarez to rant about everything. It's part of the whole wrestling thing now.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I always enjoy about Brian's rants, though. He always reminds me of the guy you see at the bus stop talking to himself for no apparent reason. That's what Brian always reminds me of. I love his stuff.
And I love it. I have no desire to watch an episode of TNA because I have so much damn fun listening to his take on it. It sounds just like this great stream of consciousness rant about what's wrong with society, and I absolutely love the guy for it. You don't have to tune in to Spike TV or USA Network for your wrestling enjoyment. Brian Alvarez cuts a better promo than just about anybody on either show.
Yeah.
And then he makes sure to remind you that he has to watch it, not you. You don't have to watch it.
That's just a heel thing he does. He just does that because he knows it irritates Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's having a very good time with it. We must think. Can anybody think of a trivia question on the fly here? Because I wrote on my blog earlier that we would have a trivia question tonight.
Well, you shouldn't have written that, Kurt.
What's that?
You shouldn't have written that.
I shouldn't have, but I did.
If
and I don't think we could come...
So now we're going to punish you by not giving you one. No,
yeah,
I don't.
now we're not
Thanks.
do
Well,
it.
that's what friends are for.
Now Dan has to come up with one all of a sudden. Then he has to give us the answer.
Yeah, Dan, what's the trivia question for
you
this
want a
week?
trivia? What area do you want it in? How about
Kurt handles the trivia, so.
Okay, I mean, is it the kind of thing where you want somebody to actually take a chance at it, or I mean, I could pull something out from the carnivals in the 1930s if you want, but you know.
I have a good one from that era. I have a good trivia question, although I was actually, and then maybe since we're running out of time, if no one gets it, we can talk about it next week. But I have a good one.
In fact, why don't you throw it out, and we will have that be the trivia question.
What famous pro wrestler was the subject of a Tijuana Bible?
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Are you guys familiar with Tijuana Bibles?
Yes, I do.
And the one I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
That's an awesome question, and I'm very eager to find out what the answer is, although I won't be able to right at the moment.
And I have to let you guys know, none of you guys can win this contest.
Well, I have a
damn. I can't win my own loot?
Yeah. Not like that guy in Mexico who won his...
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Did you hear about this?
Wait, what's the story about? I have not heard this story.
They had they were running this contest in Mexico where CMLL was giving away an apartment.
Oh, no.
So you had to show proof that you've been to 20 events, 20 of the most recent events. So, of course, who's going to go to all 20 events and actually have the ticket stub? One of the announcers on one of the cable shows who does announcing for the Puebla show. He does the announcing for the Puebla show for CMLL. He does a news show also. So he ends up winning the department, and all of a sudden you just hear all these fans just yelling at, like booing him like crazy, just because they're talking about how they're yelling like how it's a fraud.
Oh, that's hysterical!
And that
I
was
love it. I love it. That's one of those things I used to do in the carnivals years ago, and the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah.
Well, there's a great story in Whatever Happened to Gorgeous George, where they talk about the guy, the promoter, who would have a drawing for a pony, and his son would win.
Yes, and he would come right out and say it. Well, what do you know? My son won the pony.
Exactly.
They said he was lucky to get out there alive from that.
With the Italian Stallion and George South shows, or maybe just Italian Stallion, those PWF shows, where there would be raffles and it would always be won by a trainee or a member of Italian Stallion's family.
Oh, Lord. Well, let me tell people what the loot is, this trivia question. It's quite an eclectic batch of prizes here. Among things you will get is you'll get ECW, the Best of Cactus Jack. You'll get the South Korean film The Foul King, about the stereotypical 98-pound weakling story of a little nerd who gets kicked around and has had enough and decides that he's going to become a professional wrestler. And I will say it is a surprisingly good movie. You will also get, by the way, these are all used copies. I would love to say I could go out and buy new copies for these quizzes, but no, these are.
But you're basically saying this is a box you found in your garage, right?
How do you know, man?
I think
you have that psychic connection, man. If you're charging us $1.99 a minute to do this, I'm going to be pissed.
Kurt,
I'm sorry,
I think what you're trying to say is Elena wants you to get rid of all this stuff.
Okay, Fredo, you're Mistress Cleo number 2. Dan's Mistress Cleo number 1. You're Mistress Cleo number 2. You guys are both psychically ganging up on me, man.
Let me guess, there's a couple programs in that box too, huh?
No, but now that you say it, I bet I could find some. The third item is a DVD of The 5 Deadly Venoms, one of the all-time kung fu cult classics.
That's right.
And then I'm throwing in 2 CDs also. The album Something's Going On by Frida, a solo project of Anna Fried from ABBA. And yes, as much as I always loved Annie Fried, this might be a bit of a punishment prize. And then the fifth item is a copy of the CD Acid Rain by the one-man group Mad Dog in L.A., a.k.a. Crazy Charlie Reed, a.k.a. Steel Graham, a.k.a. Tom Hankins, the first guy who ever got me in the ring, the guy most famous for revealing the proposition Pat Patterson made to him years ago on the Phil Donahue Show.
Uh-oh.
So there is...
Are you telling me Pat Patterson's gay?
He is?
He is?
I just thought it was a power trip he was on. I just thought my friend Charlie looked really effeminate. I thought,
yeah.
Patterson had a little too much to drink and said, "Hey, young lady, come here." But anyway, Mad Dog on LA is a one-man. I don't know how you describe his music, but it's out there.
Fredo, if we joke about Facebook, but seriously, if you get on Facebook, make friends with Tom, because Tom puts up some of the greatest pictures you will ever see.
He does.
In your entire life.
Tom Hankins, he was the very first person to get me in the ring at Strongbow Stadium in Bakersfield and show me how to take bumps, and he's an awesome friend. I've known him for almost 28 years now, and
well, I'll need proof that Physico made it to Facebook.
Okay, that's the deal. When Physico is on Facebook, I will send you the email to confirm.
But Fredo, Physico wears a mask. How are you going to know it's him?
Oh, that's true. It could be somebody else. It could be Kurt. It could be Kurt.
So even with a mask, I don't look good as Physico does.
Yeah, but you can Photoshop like one of your old pics.
That's right. Hey, Kurt, you didn't say anything. We could use Physico Mark II that we used once before. You didn't
That's
say
right. That's right. Believe it or not, there is a photo of Physico Mark II giving me a flying head scissors, and everybody who's posted it on the net actually thinks it's Physico 1. So there is a little tomfoolery going over there that people have fallen for.
Who was Physico Mark II, Sergeant Slaughter?
Yeah, exactly. And no one could tell the difference between them. It was amazing.
Yes. You never saw the two in the same place,
Is Physico actually going to handle his Facebook, or is it just you guys like messing around and updating?
Well, of course it's us guys messing around, but the beauty of it is he will be on, because the first thing I'm going to do is give him a phone call and say, "Physico, you're on Facebook." He's going to call back and going, "Oh, great."
Yeah, but he's not going to have the password or anything. Right?
Oh, yes, he is. No, I'm giving him the password.
You're going to give him everything.
Giving him the password, and I'm telling him if he does not post updates, then I will post them for him. And I guarantee you that's what will make him post.
And his very first update will be he's in London and he's been robbed and he's been mugged and he needs money.
He's been mugged at gunpoint and needs $10,000 to get back to the United States.
Now, why London? Why London? I mean,
when I got that email, I was going to do a sale and call it the Trapped in London sale. And
I like that.
You should still do it.
Yeah, no, but I can't. I'm not going to put Trapped in London, though. I mean.
Okay, if we do Incredibly Strange Wrestling Reunion Show, that will be the name of the show, Trapped in London.
Yeah, there you go, the first show.
Well, that could be a step of the match. The loser has to go be Trapped in London.
We'll have these big guys show up claiming to be mugged and needing money or something.
We'll name it after whatever city we hold the show in. I mean, wouldn't it be kind of interesting, Trapped in City of Industry or Trapped in Walnut?
There you go.
Straight out of Walnut.
Yeah.
Straight out of Walnut. That's perfect.
Just come up with those trippiest names with the cities that we're at.
Yo, I'm from the Cottonwood Lane crew. Don't I look astonishingly intimidating? So, for those of you who want to take a stab at the trivia question, send them to me at Liger, that's Lyger, at AOL.com, or at the Slammin Stan email, which is, what is it again, Fredo?
SlamminStan@hotmail.com. I'll forward all the answers to you.
Awesome. Very cool.
Did I get them and not know what they're talking about?
I love that.
I'll throw in one or two other goodies. Who knows? Maybe I will even find a program to throw in there that Dan already knew I found.
Maybe I'll do a trivia at some point.
I love it.
I'll do some sort of prize.
And in the meantime, I will send Kurt the scan of the Tijuana Bible in question.
Oh,
wicked
great.
Cool. That's an awesome question. That's every bit as good as the Lola Kiss question. I was really jazzed that first question to find out that it was a hard one to figure out, and got to give another salutation to Brad Smith for getting that question. That was impressive.
You might want to repeat it again, the question.
Okay, it is, what pro wrestler was the subject of a Tijuana Bible, which was a slang term for these underground, sold under-the-counter, like, pornographic little comic book things that were...
Oh, now I know who's going to get it. I know who's going to answer it.
Who?
Yeah. I'll just let him.
That's going to be the next trivia question.
Who will get...
The next trivia question will be, did Fredo correctly identify who's going to win it, and who was it that Fredo predicted would win it?
There's a great book. I saw this book a while back. There's a great book on Tijuana Bibles, and they're just absolutely amazing. They really are when you look at them.
No way, like a coffee table book?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too cool.
Yeah, and they reprinted a whole bunch of them in there, and it's hysterical to look at them.
There's a website with a bunch of them, too. Let me...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's give the people the link to that. That is a must.
Tijuana Bible. Let me see. It was either where is it? TijuanaBibles.org.
TijuanaBibles.org. I'm glad that it's a .org. It gives it an extra air of sophistication, I must say. And along with such airs of sophistication, I want to say to my good friend John J. Vargas, tuta tita. Oh, well, life in the city. Am I bad? I also want to say hey to Wes Daniel, great representative of the Cauliflower Alley and the coolest cat to ever cycle through the streets of Whittier, California.
Kurt, are we doing shout-outs? Because I want to do shout-outs now.
Okay, what's your shout-out, Fredo?
I don't have a shout-out. Dan, do you have a shout-out?
This show's still on the air.
This show is still on the air.
It's after 8:30. Are we still on the air?
Come on, Kurt. Let's call it a day now.
I think that's a good idea. Let's call it a day.
But I would like
shout out to sweet Sophia Carias, who is one of the coolest girls ever to hit Story Salon. One of the coolest wrestling fans of Southern California.
Well, you better call her Carias, which is her real last name, if you want her to really like you.
Will she hit me if I say Carias?
No, it's Carias.
But will she hit me if I say it incorrectly?
Well, it depends if you like it or not.
Okay, Carias. Okay. No, Carias.
I would like to give a shout-out to Baron Miguel Cicluna.
Amen to that. I see him soaring through the sky along with that handful of Monfels powder, I must say.
I mean, here's the great trivia question, is they always show that clip of Muhammad Ali and Gorilla Monsoon from a long time ago, whenever they did that big angle back before the Inoki match, and Monsoon's opponent was Baron Miguel Cicluna in that match.
In fact, remember earlier I mentioned that Ricky Itaki, one of his muses was Baron Cicluna?
Yeah.
That's where he got the inspiration to replicate Baron Miguel Cicluna's Isle of Malta salute, from that match. He said that was the only time he ever saw Baron Miguel Cicluna wrestle, but that's where he got his Ricky Itaki salute from.
Yeah, there's a great moment whenever he leaves, when he decides to, most guys, when they get counted out, they stop the match and Monsoon's fighting with Ali. Most guys would just walk away from the ring. As Cicluna walks away from the ring, he stops, looks back, takes both hands, and goes like, forget it. And then keeps walking. And
it is really cool to think, there's a guy who didn't seem to have a hang-up from going to a fairly pushed wrestler to being a jobber. There is no shame in it, and everybody tomorrow, in reference to Baron Cicluna, should take a pencil, wrap tape around it, and carry it in the inside of their pants tomorrow. Because that was his favorite foreign object. That was his favorite foreign object.
I was going to keep it in my armpit.
I like that.
That's a good place too. That was a good one too.
Or under a toupee.
I love it. And it also sounds like he was able to walk away from the business and have a life after wrestling, which is another thing you got to salute somebody for, because I know it's not always easy, and that's not a knock at people who can't give up the ghost. It must be difficult.
Of course, Vince McMahon Sr. did help him get a union job, which not everyone has the benefit of.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I gotta give a salute to Vince Sr. then, because he didn't have to do that, but he did.
Oh yeah.
You know, the sad thing about Baron Cicluna was he still got asked if he still watches TNA every weekend.
Is that what killed him?
Still did. Unbelievable. I mean,
let's take a moment of silence for Billy Jack Haynes also.
What?
Who's not really dead, but he's not really dead, but that man's been dead in the head for a long, long time. That's right.
You're blowing my mind, Farron. You're blowing my mind.
Well, yeah, you know, Daniel Benoit was Vince McMahon's son. Billy
That's right.
Oh my God!
And, and Vince had them open up the harness on Owen as revenge for Brett hitting him, and then rehired Davey Boy so he could poison him and make sure he died. It didn't tell anybody.
Oh, I didn't know about
Yeah, but that was to cover the fact that he knew that there were two Ultimate Warriors because the first Ultimate Warrior died, and Soupy Sale's son was the second Ultimate Warrior.
Which one was Barry Von Erich?
If you have to see the conspiracy, sometime you get a chance.
Have his own website, like discussing wrestling, you know.
Oh, what's hysterical is he sits there and he'll be going through all these. He's holding up all these pictures which he's printed out from Obsessed by Wrestling, the website, you know, and it's all, you know, and they're in plastic, and he says, so and so, here's Hawk was killed by Vince McMahon and let go, and he gets the Buzz Sawyer and he goes, here's Buzz Sawyer. Well, he was pretty screwed up beforehand, but everybody else was that way.
Oh, this conversation is making me trip. I've seen Gumby and Pokey picnicking with Dr. Jerry Graham. I'm seeing Pero Aguayo Abdullah the Butcher, the Yano 3, and the Elephant Man Parade.
Yeah.
Lord,
yeah.
This is awesome.
Dad, I think we better call it a night now.
You're absolutely right. Fredo is calling the finish. Fredo is saying, let's go home.
Let's go home.
Out. It's Miller time. Let's rock and roll. I hear a party coming our way. We hate school, but we love rock and roll. Rock and roll, baby.
I'm glad I got a chance to call in. It was great to talk to all you guys. It really was.
Yeah, keep on calling us, Dan. We need more callers.
Yes,
okay.
We do.
I'll try to do it on a regular basis.
We will love that. We love having you on the show, Dan Farron. Thank you again, Big C Demon. We always love having you. And
that's right.
Fredo, thank you as always for doing all the heavy work on this show. And remember, if you're roaming through the streets of Southern California on a starry evening and you see something bright shooting across the sky, it is not a shooting star. No, no, no. It is a heavenly handful of Moncel's powder. Till 2 weeks. I forgot to tell you we're going bi-weekly now. In 2 weeks. Take care, my babies. Bye-bye.